I read every money book so you don't have to. Mind-blowing lessons revealed. Over the past few years, I've kind of been on a mission, if you will, to devour every book I could get my hands on about money and investing. From the classics that cover the fundamentals like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, to the psychology-focused ones like Think and Grow Rich, and even the nitty-gritty investing guides like One Up on Wall Street. Let me tell you, some of the things I've learned completely blew my mind, and they challenged what I thought I knew about money. So, are you curious to find out? Good, well, let's dive in. First up, we got the grandpappy of them all. Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This book is a game changer, and it's no wonder why it's so popular. It covers the foundations of finance and money that we never learned in school, and it does it in a way that's easy to understand. The author, Robert Kiyosaki, talks about his story of having two dads growing up. His biological father, who believed in the traditional, shall we say, path of getting a secure job and retiring with a pension. And then there was his best friend's father, a high school dropout, who built a business empire, and it was all about independent thinking and buying assets that make money for you. Well, this book introduced me to the concept of assets and liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket, such as investments, real estate, side gigs, or businesses that generate extra income. And then on the other hand, liabilities. Well, these are the things that take money out of your pocket. They lose value over time. You want to avoid these things, especially when trying to build yourself up. Now, the author also challenges the idea of your primary residence, your home, being your primary investment. He argues that when you think of your home in this way, you end up buying more house than you need. And that sucks. It really does. It also sucks up a lot of your money in monthly installments that you could be using for other things that are profitable somewhere else. So this is a must-read if you're starting your personal financial journey. It explains the core concepts in a way that's easy to understand, and it emphasizes the importance of giving every dollar a purpose. He says view them like employees who are constantly working for you. The author also wrote a follow-up book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. This one will blow your mind even more. You know, most people think about a stable 9-to-5 job being the only way to legitimately and realistically find a way to financial security. But this book, well, it paints a different picture. It makes you really understand the limitations of a 9-to-5 job. And now you don't have to be tied to a desk for the rest of your life to make money and be financially free. Kiyosaki, the author, takes it one step further and argues that relying purely on your job might very well just be the worst thing that you can do when it comes to making money and seeking financial freedom. The cash flow quadrant represents the 4 ways to earn money. 1, being an employee working 9 to 5, being self-employed or having a small business like a dentist or a freelancer, being a big business owner, and then finally being an investor. You see, the book talks about how you can use this concept to achieve financial freedom and which one of these paths most likely leads to that goal. Now, this book is great for getting your mind ticking over with some ideas, but when it comes to actionable takeaways and things that you can implement, I highly recommend The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. I know. When I saw the title, I was like, what? I was skeptical too. A 4-hour work week sounded too good to be true. But as I got deeper into the book, I realized it wasn't about working less at all. It was purely about working smarter. Tim talked about how anyone can live a retired millionaire lifestyle by building their own businesses, automating them, and then collecting their income as they go about their live their best life strategy, if you will. A life that they would usually wait years and years to live when they retire. And when you read the book, you realize that something that seems that very far-fetched and out of reach is actually a lot more achievable than you think. So these two books, in my opinion, go hand in hand. Cash Flow Quadrant opens up your eyes to the possibilities of earning money outside of the traditional job setup. And the 4-hour work week, well, that gives you the tools to make that happen. Next up, we've got the Millionaire Fast Lane. The author makes a really interesting point in this book. There's no such thing as get rich easy. Now listen, he says there is such a thing as get rich quick. Let me tell you, you don't hear that very often. He talks about 3 paths in a financial life. The first path is the sidewalk, where you spend more than you earn repeatedly, which keeps you trapped in the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. While the second path is the slow lane, which is about taking the safer path in life, getting the good grades, getting the good job, saving a portion of your paycheck every month, and then putting that into investments. Now, eventually, you'll be able to retire at 65 years old, The issue is with the slow lane that it's a slow game, and you're ultimately trading your time for money. But then there's path 3, he calls it the fast lane. This is all about leveraging your time to create passive incomes by creating maybe a product or a system that you can earn income from long term over the original time of the investment and the moment that it was made. What I really like about this book is that the author keeps it real. He says that getting rich quick is possible, but it requires effort, hustle, hard work, discipline. You need to be incredibly committed, he says. Even though it might look like you got rich quickly, it's actually an accumulation, if you will, of years of experience and knowledge that gets you to that point. Now let's talk about this one. You've probably heard of it, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. This book tends to have different opinions. You either love it or you hate it. There's hardly a middle ground when it comes to this book. Some people felt that the book was all fluff and it didn't deliver on its promise. They expected a clear, actionable roadmap to wealth, and they were disappointed when they didn't find that. Now, on the other hand, some people credit this book with transforming their mindset and financial lives. For them, it was like a light bulb moment, if you will, that helped them unlock their limiting money beliefs and figure out what was holding them back. So, what's my take on it, you ask? Well, when it comes to success, I believe mindset is everything. If you approach life with a scarcity mindset, thinking there's never enough and that money is hard to come by, then that's kind of what you experience. But if you believe in abundance and that you can achieve wealth, your actions will align with those beliefs and lead you towards that success. However, mindset's not enough. On its own, it's not enough at least. You can have that positive mindset, the abundance-oriented look, if you will, but if you don't take action on it, well, you're not going to get very far. It's like having the best tools in the world but never picking them up and using them. You know anybody like that? You need both the right mindset and a consistent focus of action to be successful. So if you're looking to improve your mindset and you're open to exploring your beliefs and digging a little deeper, this book could definitely be for you. And if you're not a fan of the psychological approach and you're looking for a step-by-step guide to building wealth, you might want to skip it and go for some of the other books that I've mentioned. Speaking of getting rich, by the way, let's talk about this one. It's a classic, The Psychology of Money. Ultimately, money is as much about psychology as it is about math. It's about how our minds perceive and interact with money, our feelings towards money, and more importantly, our past experiences with money. These things often overshadow the raw financial knowledge that we have. The most interesting part of this book is how often we misattribute the role of chance or luck in our financial lives. The author talks about how most of us learn what to do and what not to do about money by studying exceptional financial success stories such as Bill Gates, right? We think that we can replicate their success, but the more exceptional the story, the more likely it is that there was a little luck that played a role in there, bigger than the owner of that business would ever admit to. And the fewer lessons you can take from it and implement into your own life. The author recommends paying attention to the patterns, not the people. If one person took route A to get to success, but 10 people took route B, chances are route B is what's going to work for you because it's more likely that chance or luck played a role for the person who took route A. Does that make sense? And when it comes to money, some key patterns and fundamentals can apply to everybody. It doesn't require a lot of chance or luck. Now, there are also some fundamentals that I think most money books fail to mention. I'll go into that in a second. But first, let's talk about getting rich. How do we do that? Where do we put our money? Where should we channel it to multiply, to grow its value? Alex Hormozi introduced this concept of ignorance debt when it comes to gathering knowledge. He explains that the difference between your current level and earning 100 million is just the information that you have yet to learn. It's the fact that you don't know how to make 100 million yet. We can use this ignorance debt concept when it comes to investing as beginners. We tend to think we understand the topic a lot better than we actually do. We may think that we've grasped all the intricacies and are prepared to make really big decisions about money and investing. This premature level of confidence can mislead us. If we don't have a strong enough foundation for our understanding, problems can happen. So what are some of the books that can help us tackle this ignorance debt and start us on our investing journey? Two great places to start are The Intelligent Investor and Girls That Invest. The Intelligent Investor, well, this is the book that Warren Buffett read when he was 19 years old. He still calls it the best book on investing that he had ever seen written. This book's principles are timeless. It illustrates how investing over the long term doesn't require specialist knowledge. It doesn't require being super intelligent or having really deep insights into anything. It just requires a rational framework to make decisions and not letting your emotions override your rational framework. The book covers how the market behaves, the fundamentals of finance, and how to maintain control of your psychology. Now, Girls That Invest, that's written by Simran Kaur. It's another really good book for the ultimate beginner who wants to understand why they should invest, the basics and the terminology of investing, and how to find their investing personality type and then create a portfolio that matches that. Another book worth checking out is A Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John Bogle. He's the now passed away CEO of Vanguard. He invented index funds. Well, naturally, he argues that the winning strategy for beginner investors is pretty simple, right? Invest in index funds and do it indefinitely. He talks about why index funds outperform primary alternatives and the ideal asset allocation of stocks to bonds, depending on your age. Personally, I think this book's a little bit outdated for a number of reasons, and I think that Bogle is a bit conservative when it comes to asset allocation. A good follow-up book to this is The Dandor Investor and One Up on Wall Street. Now, these books both focus and follow similar principles regarding the best investments, which is that they are often right under your nose in the sense that they align with what we already know and engage in our daily lives. Based on this, the average investor has a huge advantage over Wall Street professionals. Now, I agree with this to some extent. A friend of mine did that Invisalign treatment on his teeth about 5 years ago. He was super impressed with the product at the time. It could strengthen his teeth without needing to wear silver braces. The treatment, he said, was discreet, and he was really happy with the results. He decided to look into the company further, found it was publicly listed. He looked at the company's reports and he decided to invest in the stock. But that investment turned out to be one of the best returns he's had on many of his investment options. And it was purely because he was a customer and he saw the impact firsthand. So while I agree that the average investor has the potential to one-up professionals, it isn't as simple as just being a customer. It requires a lot more research before investing in that stock. One common thread among all of these books and across all legitimate, genuine finance advice is that there's no such thing as a shortcut to success or getting rich. It does require discipline, persistence, and the ability to control one's emotions regarding money and life in general. I've found that very few money-focused books discuss the importance of investing in yourself before investing in the stock market. I guess those are two very different topics, but the truth is that investing in most cases is a very long and very slow game, whereas investing in yourself, whether it's your ability to manage money or your ability to make more money through a business or a side gig, is more important in the short term. And with that, I'll leave you to dive into these incredible books and start your journey to financial success. Remember, knowledge is power, and the more you learn, the more you earn, and then you'll get closer to your financial goals. But it's only powerful knowledge if implemented. Don't forget that. So if you found this video interesting, please press the like button. If you found this video entertaining, press the like button. That way you'll get to see more videos on this topic and subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when new videos get posted. I'm Dave Seymour.